Okay, good evening, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay. We are going to call the meeting to order, reconvene our open session. I'd like to ask our clerk to report out actions taken in closed session. Trustee Inman.
There are no actions to report at this time.
Okay, thank you for that. Will now be led in the invocation by Trustee Dack, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Trustee Inman. If you're able, please stand.
With so many conflicts going on in the world and Thanksgiving on Thursday, I would like for us to reflect on how fortunate we are here in South Orange County. We do have our share of issues, of course, including the loss of one of our hangars near our ATEP site, but sometimes we get lost in the day-to-day of our own lives and forget just how fortunate we are living here in South Orange County. Join me in a moment of reflection. Thank you, and I'd like to hand it off to Trustee Inman, who will be leading us in the pledge.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, any requests for public comments? None? Okay. Now move on to oral reports, board reports. Let's see, let's start to my left with Trustee Dack.
Get to be front-loaded today. So October and much of November was a busy month for me. I was fortunate to visit the IVC facilities for a facility tour where I joined a number of our other trustees in looking at what has been going on at IVC, and I was very impressed with what I saw, especially the outdoor learning spaces and the continued development of our Performing Arts Village. I was also proud to support IVC and Saddleback's Teacher of the Year nominees Winnie Din and Ryan McKeechee at the Orange County Department of Education Teacher of the Year banquet held in Anaheim. I was also proud to attend Supervisor Foley's Veteran of the Year Award ceremony and present the Veteran of the Year Award to Irvine's very own Dr. Danny Molina, who teaches at UCI, but is a very active Irvine resident. And that is it for me.
All right. I too was able to attend the Teacher of the Year ceremony. As usual, very well attended and really good show. It seemed to run longer this year, and I'm not sure why, even though the last time they had double the number of candidates. So it was a nice night, and it was really good celebrating our professors, as we love to do. Unfortunately, as Trustee Dack mentioned, the hangar fires in Tustin, the area I represent, has been quite impactful. My own yard had asbestos and residue in it. I'm less than a mile away from it. And I had an opportunity to kind of drive by the ATEP site and kind of make sure everything was still going well there. I appreciate the updates from the Chancellor as to our impact from that. And I assume that it will still be, I know we've been having our soil mitigation issues and PFAS and all that fun, and now we have added benefit of the debris that most likely fell on the site that will have to be picked up as well. But just a heartfelt message to all Tustin residents impacted by that. It's not just me. And there are quite a few people that are looking to see this resolved, and we appreciate what the city is doing. We appreciate what the county is doing. I believe the Navy's trying to do something other than throw money at it, but not much. And that's been our history with them, with our own site. So just looking forward to a good resolution to all of that. Thank you.
I enjoyed supporting students and teachers this month. At Teacher of the Year, we honored Winnie Din and Ryan McKeechee. At the Irvine Chamber of Commerce event, Distinguished Educators Shaping Orange County's Future Workplace, we honored Debbie Van Cholant, I hope that was close, and Dr. Patricia Beckman. At the Student Research Symposium, we honored many students from both Saddleback and IVC for their excellent presentations. But what I want to focus on for a moment is creativity. The facilities tour of the two colleges was filled with creative new design. For example, the IVC Arts Village is even better than I thought it would be. The buildings are creative and beautiful and provide space where students from all departments will be able to get together to create masterpieces. Secondly, the creativity was plentiful in the musical production of Young Frankenstein. The talented actors brought this funny and fun script to life. But the installation of the wall, which is used for scenic design, was just really outstanding, and a shout out to the people who created it. A week later, I went to New York City to see A Beautiful Noise on Broadway, and they had the same wall. Not the same pictures, but the same structure. And I think it's wonderful that we are training our students for jobs of the future, not jobs of the past. But talking about creativity, if you haven't seen it, this book called Sound Off is a story of veterans, and it's a comic book, so very creative way to share important information with each other. I am happy to be part of a district that nurtures creativity.
Thank you for that. Trustee Jay.
I attended Saddleback College's Veterans Day ceremony, which was held on November 7th at Saddleback College's beautiful Veterans Memorial. The inspiring program was led by Saddleback Veterans Coordinator Zachary Rosaldo and features talks by administrators and veteran students. The keynote address was given by student veteran Cade Allen. We owe a debt of gratitude to Saddleback's veterans for their contributions to our freedom and way of life. Afterwards, an excellent buffet lunch was served. It's by ASG, but the company that did it was really good. And I told Elliot Stern that, wow, I had seconds. It was so good. I hope we use them again. IVC's Veterans Day ceremony, which I attended, was held appropriately on the eve of the United States Corps' 248th birthday, November 9th, 2023. It was inspiring, uplifting time, featuring speakers from the Veterans Center and from the veteran students, and led by Dr. Joseph Latham, United States Marine Corps, retired the IVC Veterans Coordinator. Primarily inspiring was the POW/MIA table. This poignant display with its empty chairs honors those who honor the call of duty and have not returned. The illustrated book we all got, booklet Sound Off, Stories from Veterans and Military Dependents at IVC, was unveiled at the event. Sound Off, this book, is a photo story blog and comic book of veteran and military-connected students sharing stories from their life experiences. Thanks to faculty tutor Max Evans and former IVC Professor Nathan Cahan and contributing artist Cassandra Perez and Kelly Ty, Ivy student Joyce Wynn, all others made this possible. After the ceremony, an excellent Bach lunch was served, generously provided by Cox Communications. Also on November 9th, I attended and thoroughly enjoyed the IVC Theater Arts Department presentation of Young Frankenstein, a musical adapted of Mel Brooks' classic film. An excellent performance, job well done. The music was fantastic. Everything was great about the performance. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Trustee Milcher.
Okay, thanks. This was a really difficult month in world affairs. Yet, as Trustee Dack noted, we are okay and doing well at our district, and the brilliance and joy at our colleges was a perfect antidote for melancholy. I'm wearing a Bobcat regalia today to celebrate our incredible women's soccer team winning the Saturday's playoff game. It was great. We were there last year, at last year's win also. Last year, the Bobcats were named the #1 team in the country, and they're on their way this year. And President Ster noted in his email to the district that this is a year of the fierce women athletes at Saddleback, so let's celebrate them. I know that caring coaches make a difference, and I love the cartoon of the scary Bobcat on the scoreboard going, ah! That was really fun. At the Irvine Chamber of Commerce Distinguished event, Dr. Patricia Beckman-Wells, who leads Interactive Media Program and teaches people to make these graphics, teaches our students to make these graphics, was honored with the Distinguished Educator Award for 2023. In addition, our Dean of Design, Engineering, and Automation accepted a second category in STEAM. As the board mentioned, the facilities tours of all 3 campuses were done. The art gallery opening was fascinating. Performing arts, IVC No Exit, Saddleback College, Carey, and Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein was incredibly funny. Professor Amy Liu, the honors chair, headed the Student Research Conference Symposium at IVC, and it was phenomenal. Wish I had time to share some of the presentations. We've already talked about the Teacher of the Year banquet, and I'm really honored by attending to honor our teachers. And at the Saddleback College plant sale, plant expert Tina Maldonini was a huge help picking up plants for me, and every penny raised for these plant sales goes to scholarships for students. I spent all day Sunday at getting ready and being at the Mars rover team Sunday afternoon, and our experiment succeeded at about 6:30 in the afternoon yesterday. We all cheered, and it was my best day yet volunteering for the Mars rover team. So happy Thanksgiving and be kind.
Thank you for that. I'll make it short. The ATEP
you.
tour was great for those who made it. It's nice to see progress taking place there. There's development happening, so we're doing what we said we were going to do at ATEP. The IVC tour, as been mentioned, was awesome. Thanks, John, for you and your staff. Saddleback tour as well. Elliot, your staff, you and your staff were fantastic. And Margot, the Gateway building did not disappoint. We saw it a few days after you did, so that was awesome. And then Teacher of the Year, Winnie and Ryan. I don't think they're here, but congratulations. Awesome recognition. Thank you. Trustee Hiddy.
Thank you. In the spirit of thankfulness, I wanted to begin by extending some gratitude to my fellow trustees tonight on behalf of our student body. Your dedication to student success is always consistent, and it is evident within each and every meeting. As we approach the holiday season, I believe it's also important to acknowledge that this is often a time of great stress for many of our students. Alongside the Care Corner and Saddleback ASG, we have been working toward ensuring our students still feel supported during our holiday breaks. Saddleback student government leaders and I have organized a Thanksgiving food drive for November 21st and 22nd, during which we'll be passing out complete Thanksgiving meals and assorted canned food items to Saddleback students. We've been collecting items with our Director of Care for the past few weeks, and we look forward to being able to provide these necessities to many of our students this week. Saddleback and IBC have also held their first-generation college student celebrations during the first week of November. Both events were able to reach a large population of our student bodies, and I'm proud to serve a district with such a commitment to acknowledging and celebrating the outstanding accomplishments of our first-generation students, staff, and teachers. Your meticulous hard work and unwavering determination to pursue a higher education does not go unnoticed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for that. Now turn to our ASG reports, and we'll start out with Saddleback College Spring Momentum.
All right, good evening, everyone. On November 8th, ASG hosted our annual fall fair. During the event, we had lots of fall activities and greeted students with slices of pumpkin pie. We definitely saw an increase in student engagement with ASG, which we're very happy about. We were also able to show our support for our veteran students by collaborating with our Veteran Student Council and promoting the Veterans Day ceremony, which took place on November 7th. Our Innit Club Council has been working closely with Loud Crowd to increase ASG's involvement with sports events. AHG made an appearance at the women's soccer game on November 18th to show its support. We're collaborating with Care Corner and having a Thanksgiving meal drive tomorrow. Our members have been preparing for this event for the past 3 weeks, and we're looking forward to tomorrow's outcome. Our Honor Student Council is working on putting thankful trees on the second floor of LRC. Students are welcome to write what they're thankful for on sticky notes and put them on the trees. As we're getting closer to finals, we're working on a few stress buster events, such as Pause for the student body and a Secret Santa activity for our AHG members. As for next semester, Senate has spent a lot of time planning our involvement with the Welcome Week. We're discussing the potential idea of hosting a talent show on January 18th. We want to promote this event as best as we can and encourage students to sign up for either individual or group performances. And the winners will be selected by our faculty. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Now, Diego Victoria from IVC.
Good evening, everyone. So I want to highlight some moments that IVC had during the month of November, starting off with our hunger and homelessness awareness events. And so last week, IVC hosted various events and workshops to recognize the national hunger and homelessness, something that oftentimes is kind of overlooked, but especially in our district, considering it's not an area of high need in most of their serving communities, but I think it's still something important for IVC to do. And we also had a Native American Heritage Month, which is also something not very popular on most college campuses, but IVC is proud to have hosted one. And it was hosted by Dr. Patricia Martz, the co-founder and president of the California Cultural Resources Preservation Alliance. And they shared the history of the, I can't pronounce it, the Kashimin, of the first people of South Orange County. And it's a great event to bring awareness about the people that came before us and those who were in our community. And on December 14th, for some upcoming events, the Student Equity and Basic Needs Center will host a IVC Cares Food Giving event, which will give hot meals and pantry items to students and their families ahead of the holidays. There's also been an effort by the Classified Senate to fundraise for a turkey drive, which has given turkeys and hot meals to over 50 students in need. And we're also hosting a De-Stress Week event, and I'm honestly really looking forward to it. And ASIVC is creating various advocacy projects and working on different committees, specifically budget and civic engagement, which we hope to share next semester early. And with that being said, I wish all of you a great Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you for those reports, both of you. Now we'll turn to IVC Academic Senate, Rebecca Beck.
Good evening. So tonight, I had prepared an update on the Academic Senate's plenary event that happened last week. But it would be remiss of me, as the current president of IVC's Academic Senate, not to speak about my colleague, Roy Bauer, a remarkable philosopher, a long-serving senator from the School of Humanities, and a cherished member of the IVC community who passed away early this morning. Roy was known for his sharp intellect and his fearless pursuit of truth, often challenging us to think deeper and question our long-held beliefs. In every debate, Roy pushed us to expand our perspectives, never shying away from a good philosophical argument. In his own way, Roy taught us the value of questioning, the importance of diverse viewpoints, and the courage to stand firm in your convictions, even if it meant standing alone. Roy's presence in the hallways of IVC was and will be a constant reminder of the vibrant intellectual life that is at the heart of our academic mission. I will always be grateful to Roy. When I was a newly hired IVC faculty member, he came to my office and he said to me, "Hey, Rebecca, you should consider joining Academic Senate." And I said, "No, Roy, you're crazy. I don't think I'm cut out to do that kind of work." Here I am, 12 years later. Thank you, Roy, for seeing that in me. Thank you for letting me share this with you, and may your Thanksgiving be bountiful with reasons to be grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's a beautiful statement. Saddleback College Academic Senate, Margot Lovett.
Like Rebecca, I also had prepared remarks about the State Academic Senate plenary, which, as she said, was held this past weekend. But I, for once in my life, found myself at a loss for words when thinking about what I would say tonight, because speaking about plenary just wasn't going to cut it. And I thought back about my interactions with Roy, which were many, although not for some years. Roy inspired me with his absolute and uncompromising sense of what was right and what was wrong. He was a fiercely ethical man, and I learned from him that if the cause was just, to never, ever give up the fight. He was the conscience of our district for many years, and we are all the poorer due to his passing. Yet, as Lisa and I commented before the meeting started, Roy's was a life well lived, and he accomplished much. Roy, you will be missed wherever you are. Give 'em hell.
I know he will. All right. That was another beautiful statement. Thank you. Turning now to the Faculty Association, Melanie Hyeri.
Hi, everyone. I first want to introduce the next president. This is Robert Melendez, the current president-elect, and he's here to hang out, and you guys are in for a real treat when he takes over. Thank you for being here. I'm going to talk about Roy, too, and I have a personal statement about him as well, but first I want to talk to you about what he meant to the Faculty Association and his impact on both our college and the association. And I'm going to read the words because there are those in our association that understand very clearly his history and his impact on the association. And I'm going to read their words. So bear with me, but they are so poignant and so true. I don't know if many of our younger colleagues understand just how essential he was to saving our college and our district. He was our conscience and our superego, the unrelenting voice that always represented an unflinching sense of right and wrong, unwilling to bow to pressure, convenience, or exhaustion. I don't think that many will understand, and even those who witnessed it will remember just how often those who ran our district, including the board, not here, the chancellor, not here, and the presidents, not here, and senior administration, not here, referred to things written in the dissent. They always knew that whatever they did, the blog would note and comment on it. And they would have to see their actions as they appeared from outside of their self-serving bubble. And Roy was always there at every board meeting and forum, listening, taking notes, evaluating, a constant reminder that someone with an ethical compass was paying attention. He really was a living embodiment of not only of the power of language, but the power of the press. He was also always willing to be the face of opposition, even when it was uncomfortable and easier to sit back and hide. He was leading the charge against unjust board policies in court and against a corrupt faculty union with CTA and a representative council meetings from which he had to exclude him. So he's the reason our association represents so well right now, and it's such an honor to be sitting in this space. And on a personal note, and I'm probably out of time, but I'm going to say it, I was a student at IVC back in 1980-something or other, and I knew of Professor Roy Bauer, although I never took philosophy. But my brother, 3 years younger than me, took philosophy from Roy Bauer. My brother became a philosopher, majored in philosophy, became a vegan because of Roy, and still is, and he was communicating with him recently. For my note, like you, when I became full-time and it was time to pick my committee, Roy said, "You should look at doing the Senate." And I thought, that's not. How about if you shadow? And so I did, and I spent 12 years as a Senate rep. And he ended every meeting with, when they asked, oh, what's the report for your school? And he would say, we remain disgruntled. Every Senate meeting. The last thing I wanted to share was when I became full-time and I was running the Reading Center. Roy came up when I had my grand opening, and he looked around and he looked at me because I'd been there part-time for many years, and he said, so you like your job? You happy? And I said, oh, I love my job. I was super enthusiastic. And a few months would go by, and he'd say, so you still love your job? Yep. And he'd go, okay. And he checked in with me on that. And the last thing is, when he found out I was going to be in this position, I got the thumbs up, and that meant more to me than anything. So in honor of Roy tonight, I remain disgruntled.
Thank you for that, Melanie. Of course, it's allowed tonight. Now, I don't believe Ace is not here from IVC. No, so now we're going to, you're not Chantel. Yes. You are Chantel. I'm sorry. Chantel for Saddleback College Classified Senate.
Good evening, trustees, and happy Thanksgiving week. I want to share a recap on Saddleback's second annual First Generation Student Celebration, which was held 2 weeks ago. We had approximately 300 students participate this year, and through a scavenger hunt, which was a new activity, and with support from the foundation, we were able to award 10 students with $50 bookstore credits to support their educational journey. We were also able to support and translate our first generation resource flyer this year to Spanish to support the increase of ESL students that we have on campus this year, thanks to support from SEEP and HSI funding. Overall, we had a lot of students that came up to us this year, and they shared their many thanks to us for hosting this event, for seeing them as first generation college students, and that was just incredibly rewarding to hear. It centers us on our purpose of the work we do. Currently, we are also working on implementing several behavioral commitments through Caring Campus, which, as a reminder, is all about creating a positive campus culture change. We are in the process of implementing new name tags that we're really excited about, that are larger and more visible for students, have a beautiful new design, and the options to include pronouns and ally logos. Lastly, we are in the process of exploring fundraising options to implement next semester. In the past, our Classified Senate has funded student and employee scholarships through the foundation, so we're hoping to bring that back again in the spring semester. Thank you.
Thank you for that. CSEA President Scott Green.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Barnes. I, unlike Margot, Melanie, and Rebecca, I never really got a chance to really know Roy Bauer very well. I only met him a couple of times, but I became a big fan of his written word because there wasn't anyone that I could read his particular writings that did so with such conviction and with courageousness that he would actually call what is right and what is wrong. And so I did appreciate many times of his written word, and I became a fan. So condolences go out to his family. CSEA right now is launching a program called the Dependent Scholarship Program, and it's basically so that members would be able to apply for scholarships for their dependents, and very much on the lookout for future generations by educating them. And so we're hoping to have many applicants, and across the state we usually do, and we look forward to that. I wanted to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving weekend and holiday and time off. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays because I have personal family connections. I have ancestors who came over on the Mayflower, and we're at the first Thanksgiving, and they signed the Mayflower Compact. One of my ancestral great-grandfathers was a bit of a scoundrel. He owned 2 taverns, and he kept one of his taverns open on Sundays, which was not allowed back then. But I'd like to think if he's anything like the rest of us, he tried to open up his first sports bar. So, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I don't believe we have anyone here from POA, and I don't believe we have any requests for reports from the board. No? Okay. All right. Now we are on excuse me, we are now at board agenda item 5.1 regarding a public hearing on the district's initial proposal to the South Orange County Community College District Police Officers Association. Before we hold the public hearing, Vice Chancellor Cindy Viscagill will provide an introduction.
Thank you, President Jamal. The board will conduct a public hearing to provide an opportunity for the public to comment on the district's initial proposal to the Police Officers Association. If the board has any questions throughout this public hearing process, I'm here to assist.
Does the board have any questions for staff to assist with their understanding of this matter? Board item 5.1, the public hearing on the matter at hand is now open. Public comments are not to exceed 2 minutes. Seeing no requests for public comments, the public hearing is now closed. Is there any further discussion on this matter by the Board of Trustees? Seeing none, item 5.1 is concluded. We will now move to item 5.2, adoption of the district initial proposal to the South Orange County Community College District Police Officers Association. I will accept a motion and a second.
So moved.
Motion from trustee Prendergast, second from trustee Jay. Assuming no questions, let's go ahead and vote. Okay, we're gonna take a roll call vote. Grace, do you want to call the roll, please?
Trustee Dack.
Aye.
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay. Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker. Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell will be marked absent. Student Trustee Heady.
Aye.
So the motion carries on a unanimous trustee yes vote, one trustee absent, and a student trustee yes vote. We're now at board agenda item 5.3 regarding a public hearing on the South Orange County Community College District Police Officers Association's initial proposal to the district. Before we hold the public hearing, Vice Chancellor Cindy Viscagill will provide an introduction.
Thank you, President Jamal. The board will conduct a public hearing to provide an opportunity for the public to comment on the Police Officers Association's initial proposal to the district. If the board has any questions throughout this public hearing process, I'm here to assist.
Does the board have any questions for staff to assist with their understanding of this matter? Board item 5.3, the public hearing on the matter at hand is now open. Public comments are not to exceed 2 minutes. No public comments. Public hearing is now closed. Is there any further discussion on this matter by the Board of Trustees? Item 5.3 is concluded. We will now move to item 5.4, adoption of SOCCD Police Officers Association initial proposal to the district. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Motion from trustee Prendergast, second from trustee Jay. Seeing no further discussion, let's go ahead and vote. The motion carries on a unanimous 6-0 trustee yes vote. One trustee should be absent, I think, and then one student trustee yes vote, because the vote did not indicate that.
Or does it?
It says 0 not present. Shouldn't that be 1?
No, because she's absent, so she just doesn't show up.
Okay, I got it. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, and now we're on to 6.1. Trustee Inman.
There's one resolution on the agenda this month for approval. The resolution we are approving tonight is item 6.1, Native American Heritage Month. Be it resolved by the South Orange County Community College District Board of Trustees that the month of November is designated as National Native Americans Heritage Month, and the students, staff, and faculty of both Irvine Valley College and Saddleback College are called upon to observe the month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Can we have a motion, please?
Second.
Motion from trustee Milchiker and a second from trustee Prendergast. Any questions on the resolution? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. The resolution passes on a unanimous trustee yes vote and a student trustee yes vote. It's hard to believe we're on the sevens. All right. So 7.1, authorization of payment to trustee absent from board meeting. I think we need a motion and a second on
So
this one.
move.
Motion from trustee Milchiker,
Yeah, we need a second.
Second.
second from trustee Prendergast. Any questions? Let's go ahead and vote. Motion carries on a 5-0 trustee yes vote, 1 trustee abstention, and a student advisory yes vote. Okay, now on to 7.2, trustees' requests for attending conferences. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion from trustee Milchker, second from trustee Jay. Let's go ahead and vote on the item. All right, the item carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student trustee yes vote. Now we're on to 7.3, board policy revision. This is for review and study. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion from trustee Jay,
I'll second it.
second from trustee Milchker, and a question from trustee Prendergast.
Yeah, again, all kudos to the Board Policy Committee. I think this is a good idea to add this and implement. I did have a few questions and concerns, and not knowing what your discussions were and how they went. On the section 2, or article 2, however you want to call it, use of force, I feel like there might need to be language dealing with, or maybe it's a separate section under use of military equipment or something, to the idea of what non-lethal implementation we have in the as a choice of a use of force, as far as like, are we using beanbags, are we using pepper spray, things of that nature. I think there needs to be more, or maybe that comes up in the report that the chiefs of police give us, and as part of that, I would actually like to request that report be given at the board meeting, like a presentation that maybe they could do for us at that time, that they complete that report, if they haven't done so already. But I think, my assumption is that we have to pass this before they then are directed to create such a report. But I feel like there needs to be a little bit more in there about our belief and understanding and philosophy, however you want to label it, that we want every avenue taken before there's any lethal force necessary.
Yeah, my question was.
An absolute protection of our students is imperative, but I just really feel like it needs a little bit more to it, and maybe that goes in the AR, I don't know, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
So before, is it related, your question?
Yeah, my question was.
Because I want to give the administration a chance to respond.
Okay, well, because I sent questions to the administration. Did you answer it? I sent the questions about this.
I didn't see any questions. I just saw the other one that I responded to, but I didn't see.
No, you didn't see it? Let me look, okay?
So what I want to share is that there's a lot of efforts right now focused on campus police, in the last couple of years in particular. There's actually new Title V regulation that requires that we establish a public safety compact, have training, a new public safety committee. And so there's a whole kind of suite of activity happening right now outside of the board policy. And I'm happy to share that information with the board. So you'll see a more comprehensive effort to ensure that our college police are friendly and employing kind of friendly ways, for lack of a better way to say it, to kind of police our campuses. So I don't know if that gets to what you're saying, but beyond just this, there's a lot more to it.
Okay, well then I guess that then begs the question, does there need to be more to this? Like, I mean, I don't know, to me, it just comes, it's so dichotomous to have military equipment and then, a few sentences later, de-escalation techniques. Those are very broad spectrum. And and that's why I feel like it almost needs more explanation or detail to that we're going to use every avenue possible to non-lethal use.
Vice Chancellor Gable, you want to share some more about this one?
Right, so the reason that we have the information in here on the use of military equipment is there was a change to code that requires us to have a policy around the use of military equipment. It has been deemed we don't have military equipment, so there won't be any report that we'll do on the military equipment that we have on campus. As far as use of force, the policy is indicating that we're going to establish the operational guidelines, and that is something that each of the campus police departments establish. We don't typically put that in a regulation because it can change, but they follow the standards of public safety departments on their operational guidelines. And I don't know if the presidents want to add anything more about the operational guidelines that the police forces follow. The other thing that we are in the midst of developing is a public safety compact that is kind of going through our collegial consultation process. And part of that kind of touches on, I'm looking to Chris, on the philosophy of how we want to treat our students and our community and our employees, to your point on that. So I don't know if, definitely I would say if there's a philosophy of the board that we want to put in the policy, let me know what that is, and we can add that in for it comes back before the next board meeting, or kind of what you're looking at there.
Trustee Prendergast, so we've mentioned a couple times we're bringing forward a public safety compact to the board. You will see that in December. I happen to chair the Public Safety Committee as part of my Ed Services task. All our police officers have to follow, the language we're using now is the practice of community-based policing. And that's where you would find a lot of the items that you would like to see. Also, our officers are SB 390 trained as well. And we will have follow-up training this spring for our police officers. And that's where, again, you would sort of find the training around the use of non-lethal force.
Okay.
Thank you. And then again, like I said, I think when they do develop the report, I think it'd be nice to get it presented.
Agreed. Agreed. Trustee Dack, then Trustee Edmond.
I just wanted a quick question. Is there an example of military equipment that a college would require or a college has acquired? Obviously, it sounds like we don't have that currently, but I'm just not necessarily sure what that even looks like.
I guess since my mic is on, at one point Saddleback College had a emergency operations vehicle that looked like a tanker with maybe 6 to 8 wheels tanker. So that was former military equipment, and I believe the college returned that equipment maybe 6, 7 years ago.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Trustee Inman.
Yes, I was very concerned to see this written out, et cetera. In a beginning debate class, they talk about need, plan, and benefits, and I see that the plan is going to be written and so forth, and that it's very clear that we will take a look at that time. The need is partly what I'm a bit concerned about. What is the visualization where these things are going to be happening? I thought to myself, is this, great big guns? Are they pointed at students in a protest, or are they pointed at a gunman trying to hurt some of us? I'm unclear what this means and why we need to do that, other than code, but why do we personally need to do it? And then in terms of whether there's advantages or disadvantages, benefits, up above here it talks about emotional harm. And I would hate to see our campuses be anything but caring campuses. We're working so hard to have emotional well-being and acceptance and positive relationships and so forth. And maybe my brain is working overtime on this, but I don't want to see that ruined by something that may or may not even be necessary.
Let me add a couple things. One, our police officers are fantastic at what they do. They are sworn officers, meaning they carry weapons to keep our campuses safe, but they do have a community policing mentality. I will remind the board, and I'm not sure at what point this district went to sworn officers that are carrying weapons, but I think it was the 80s where we had a murder of a student on our campus, at Saddleback campus. So there are real reasons why the Board of Trustees historically has ensured that we have police officers that are there and ready to use lethal force if that was ever needed. But our officers are trained in community policing. And so an officer that carries a weapon will use lethal force if they feel that their life or the life of someone else is in danger. And that's the only time where that will come into play. And we have had multiple incidences where officers have responded to students that were creating a disruption, and they have been able to de-escalate in every circumstance that I'm aware of. And so I want to be able to tell the board our police force is outstanding in what they do. Most of them are former deputies from the Orange County Deputy Sheriff's Department, retired from that institution. They are highly trained folks, and they know exactly what to do to keep our campuses safe, but their mentality is community policing on our campuses.
Go ahead.
I'm looking for the email, and I can't quite find it. I'll keep looking for it. But anyway, to see if it's there. But I was also going to say that our police department are just top notch. They're really, really good. They're caring. They care about students. They work with students. They seem to be, and I do know because I talked with a number of them that the vast majority have retired from being a police officer, and when they want to kind of take it easy, they come to one of the college campuses to work as a campus police officer. So they're older, they're more mature, and they're more caring. I of course agree with making sure that our students are safe no matter what. I also was wondering, it doesn't say any place in the board policy that the police officers have to, if they carry firearms, they have to take, I guess, a course every year and practice and make sure that they're mentally safe and make sure that they're physically safe and they can handle the gun. So should this be in the board policy, or should this be in the A&R, in administrative regulations?
That's in the administrative regulation that they're
That was one
post-certified.
of my questions, okay. And I certainly agree with making sure that the community is safe, and that's the main thing. We have to make sure our students are safe, and that's the main thing. I just was worried about, it sounds kind of strange, but kind of like hurting their feelings. I think they're not doing that already, if you put that in writing. But I do see the importance of making sure that we maintain a safe environment for all of our students, so. But I don't mind holding it up for a week to getting more information about it if one of the trustees wants that.
No, I wasn't asking
Holding
that.
what up?
It's just for review.
It's review and study right now.
Yeah, it is for review study now.
So it's already held for a month.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on the item? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. Motion carries on a unanimous trustee yes vote and student trustee yes vote. We're on 7.4, board policy revision. This time it's for approval. Is there a motion?
Yeah, move approval, we went over them last month.
It's a motion from trustee Milchiker,
Second.
second from trustee Jay. Any questions on this item? All right. Let's go ahead and vote. Motion carries 6-0, trustee yes vote, and a student advisory yes vote. We're now on, we have no presentations. And we are now on to the consent calendar. Do we have any polls? Any trustee want to pull any items? No? All right. Is there a motion for the consent calendar to be approved?
So moved.
Motion from trustee Jay, second from trustee Prendergast. Let's go ahead and vote on the item. The consent calendar is approved on a unanimous trustee yes vote and a student trustee abstention. Thank you for that. All right. So now we are on to business services, 10.1. This is the awarding of contract to a number of law firms. Randy Erickson from McDougal and other firms here that are listed. And I'm going to ask, because I think it's an important item that comes up a lot of discussion usually at the board, if we can just have a summary of what we're doing here from the administration. I know that there are some law firms here that we're authorized to use, but we're not necessarily going to use them. Do you want to just explain that before we vote?
Certainly. So what we're doing here is we are identifying McDougal, Beamer, Foley, Lyon, Mitchell, and Erickson, or Randy Erickson, as our district's general counsel. So he's the one that will attend our closed session meetings as well as help us as needed on questions that they arise. The additional firms, the other 7 firms that we have here, are kind of our bank of attorneys that we can use. Many of them are used by human resources to do investigations. So when we need to take it out to a third-party investigator that's impartial, we will use many of these firms. Some of the other ones have specialties in construction law or contract law that we utilize. And then we have another one that specializes in everything ATEP. And
Land use.
Land use, yes. So it allows us to expand our services in order to get the specialized services on an as-needed basis. And it's easier when we go out for a 5-year contract. We lock the rates in for 5 years. So we do award contracts for the full 5 years and we have the rates locked in. So if we need to go out and use someone else, then we already have the contract in place to do so.
Thank you for that explanation. Now, I will entertain a motion to approve the item. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And I second it because I got my questions answered already.
Okay, so there are 2 motions at the same time. I'll give it to trustee Jay and then a second from trustee Milchiker.
Okay.
And any questions? No, let's go ahead and vote. Motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote, student trustee yes vote. All right, we're on 10.2, IVC Fine Arts Building Project, change order number 8, McCarthy Building Companies. Is there a motion to approve the item?
So move.
Motion from trustee Dack,
Second.
second from trustee Milchiker. Any questions? Nope, let's go ahead and vote. Motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. Now on 10.3, award of architectural services for the baseball turf and scoreboard replacement project at Saddleback College. Is there a motion? Motion from trustee Jay. Is there a second? Sorry. Second from trustee Milchiker. Let's go ahead and vote on the item. Motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student trustee yes vote. 10.4, architectural services for the central plant at Saddleback College. Is there a motion?
I second it.
Motion from trustee Jay, second from trustee Milchiker. Any questions? Oh, let's go ahead and vote. Carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. Last item under business services, 10.5, Saddleback College, systems upgrade with P2S Inc. Is there a motion to approve the item? Motion from trustee Jay,
Second it.
second from trustee Milchiker. Any questions? Seeing none, let's go and vote on the item. Motion carries on a unanimous trustee yes vote and a student advisory yes vote. We're now on to HR, 11.1, academic employees and academic classified administrators, management personnel, actions, ratifications. Any changes?
No changes, but I do have readouts, quite a few tonight.
Go ahead and do the readouts.
All right, please be patient. This is, here we go. Administrative appointments, position, Dean of Liberal Arts, name of the employee, Dr. Brooke Bowie. Contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026. 22-8, range and step, annual salary $265,392. Position, Dean of Kinesiology Athletics, Athletic Director, Mr. Daniel Kloss. Contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2026. Range step 22-8, annual salary $265,392. Position Vice Chancellor Business Services, Ms. Anne Marie Gable. Contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. Range and step 27-8, salary $345,732. Position Dean of Counseling Services, employee Dr. Angel Hernandez. Contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2026. Range 22, step 6, $247,20. Position 5, Dean of Economic and Workforce Advancement, employee name, Mr. John Jaramillo, dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, range 22, step 8, annual salary $265,392. Position Vice President of Student Services, employee name, Dr. Martha McDonald, contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, range 25, step 8, annual salary $310,344. Vice President of Instruction, Dr. Edmund Rick Miranda, contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, range 25, step 8, annual salary $310,344. Position 8, Dean of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, employee name Mr. Art Nita, contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, range 22, step 8, annual salary $265,392. Position 9, Dean of Arts, Mr. Joe Poshek, July 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024, range 22, step 8, annual salary $265,392. Position 10, Assistant Dean of Division, Director of Emeritus Institute, Mr. Dan Priedel. I think that is now, Mr. Dan Priedel, July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, range 20, step 8, annual salary $239,064. Position level 11, Dean of Counseling, Dr. Penelope Scaff. Contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2026, range 22, step 8, annual salary $265,392. Number 12, President Saddleback College, Dr. Elliott Stern, contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027, range 27, step 8, annual salary $345,732. Position Dean of Business and Industry, employee name Mr. Anthony Tang, contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, range 22, step 8, annual salary $265,392. Number 14, Director Health and Wellness Center, employee Ms. Ruby Villa Vincencio, contract dates July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, range 18, step 6, annual salary $197,172. Position Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, Dr. Cindy Viscachel, July 1st, 2024 through, June 30th, 2027, range 27, step 8, annual salary $345,732. And finally, position 16, Dean of Mathematics, Science and Engineering, Dr. Liana Zhao, July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2025, range 22, step 8, annual salary $265,392. Thank you.
You weren't kidding. Maybe next time, maybe Anne Marie should read out your item. No, did a good job. All right. Is there, we had a motion and a second. No, we didn't. We had changes, yes. We need a motion and a second. Motion from trustee Prendergast. Second. Second from trustee Dack. Any questions? Okay, let's vote on the item. Motion carries on a 5-0 trustee yes vote with one abstention. I guess that's no, what? There should be 6 of us. Okay, 5-0 trustee yes vote, 1 trustee abstention, and a student trustee abstention. Okay, 11.2, classified personnel actions, ratifications.
No changes.
No changes. Is there a motion?
So moved, and I have one comment.
Okay, well, let's get the motion in a second. Motion, trustee Milchiker.
I just
Second from trustee Jay, trustee Milchiker.
Yeah, I just mentioned people that are retired after a long time, good employees, and there's an Emerson Abbott who worked in facilities, maintenance, and operation and support services for Saddleback College. And he's retiring now after 38 years with the district, and we thank him for his work for our district. Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right, let's go ahead and vote. Motion carries on a 6-0 trustee yes vote and a student trustee abstention. Now on to agenda item 12, Educational Technology Services, 12.1, Saddleback College and IVC Spring 2024 Community Education Programs.
So moved.
Motion from trustee Prendergast,
Second.
second from trustee Jay. Any questions? No? Let's go ahead and vote on the item. Motion carries on a unanimous trustee yes vote and student trustee yes vote. We are now on to the information items. 13.1, staff response to public comments from the previous board meeting. 13.2, Saddleback College and IVC college speakers. 13.3, monthly financial status report. 13.4, quarterly financial status report. 13.5, quarterly investment report. 13.6, basic aid report. 13.7, retiree OPEB trust fund, and then 13.8, the pension stabilization trust fund. We'll now move on to reports from the administration. And to kick it off will be Chancellor Barnes.
Great, thank you so much. I do just want to acknowledge that it was Veterans Day this month, and I appreciated being able to attend both colleges' Veterans Day events. And I have to say, the best speaker that I've ever heard ever was at Saddleback College. Yeah, it wasn't you, sorry, President Stern. And so it was a fantastic speaker who just really did such a wonderful job of talking about the history of Veterans Day, why we celebrate it, but in just a very profound way, and then talked about who our veterans are, immigrants, women, just the diversity of individuals who serve as veterans. So I know we were trying to find that speech, but we don't have it. But if we do get our hands on it, we really want the board to have a copy of that. And then you already saw from IVC the Sound Off magazine, which is spectacular, as our trustee mentioned. It's very creative. So hopefully everybody gets a chance to check that out. And then there's an extra over here in case anyone wants one. And then I also want to share that a handful of us were in Palm Springs last week and over the weekend for the annual league convention. And for the first time in decades, we're really pleased that an alum from IVC won the statewide alumni award through the league. And it was, I'll chop up his name, but it's Advest Tampi. Yes? And he is obviously a veteran and an alum of IVC, and he really almost credits his life and his kind of his newfound life, particularly in transitioning to the civilian life, to IVC. And he names Joseph Latham, Robert Melendez. I know when he was up on stage in front of 700 people, he was looking directly at Robert Melendez and kept saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, and staring at Joseph, thank you, thank you, thank you, and Dr. Hernandez, thank you, thank you, thank you. So he is now the stakeholder and engagement liaison for the Department of Veteran Affairs in Washington, D.C. So he rubs elbows with the rich and famous, but he just loves the community colleges and does a lot of advocacy on the side for community colleges in DC. So I just wanted to honor our Veterans Day and including our veteran who won the statewide award. I also just want to mention I did have an opportunity to meet Roy Bauer. I wish I would have had more interactions with him, but I met him at Cookie Moss at IVC during the holidays last year. And I just went up to him. I'm like, hi, I'm the new chancellor. Who are you? And I was just chatting with him, and he was kind of chatting up. He was kind of just chatting it up. And then, and he's kind of looked like he was almost like going, well, I think maybe, he was kind of scoping me out. And then, but I had a really pleasant conversation, and he says, have you ever heard of the blog? And I said, yes. And he goes, I might know something about that. So anyway, but it was a beautiful conversation that I had with him, very memorable. And I kind of want to believe that he was like, okay, I'm getting a thumbs up in the back. And so I really appreciated learning more about him through the eyes of the faculty who have been able to interact with him. So I'm going to just send my condolences to his family as well. So, and with that. I got a note slid over to me, and I was asked if I could please mention the Feast of Lights, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, the best production ever. And Trustee Bobby J bought 30 tickets, so she wants to be sure you all attend.
Okay?
It is good. It's very good.
I'm coming with you, Bobby. All right? Okay, thank you, Chancellor Barnes. Let's go Saddleback College, Dr. Stern.
Now I know when I went to buy tickets, most of the auditorium was already filled up.
Well, I better buy tickets soon.
Yes, a reminder to everybody, Feast of Lights is December 1st to December 3rd. There are plenty of tickets still available, but the auditorium for each of the 4 shows is filling up. If you have any trouble buying tickets online, please contact Elliot Kling in the AMP school or contact my office. We'll be happy to try to help you if we possibly can. Want to thank the trustees on behalf of myself and my colleagues for giving us a bit of job security so that we can continue to do the work that we do and make our students more successful and make all of them more successful. I want to thank the faculty who worked to produce 3 new credentials that were in the agenda this month, including a new certificate of completion in acute care nursing assistant and 2 new degrees for transfer. One, an interdisciplinary degree called Law, Public Policy, and Society that I find very exciting because it is very interdisciplinary and very much focused on something like a liberal arts college would produce, and we're very proud of that. And then the Administration of Justice, AST, as well. In addition to Feast of Lights, December 1st to December 3rd, I want to remind our trustees and those in attendance or streaming that we are doing very well in soccer. No surprise, but we take nothing for granted. We did win our first playoff game. We'll have 2 more playoff games. One is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in the stadium. I'll be there. Come join me. We will have food courtesy Carrie and Anthony Ferry in the Ferry Room, as well as having food for students, which we provided for each of the games to get them excited about as well. The loud crowd will be there as well. And then our next playoff game, if we are successful against Santa Monica tomorrow, will be on Saturday. That would be also 7 p.m. at the stadium, so we hope to see you there. And then if we're successful in both of those games, it would be the state playoff, which we think will likely be against Chafee, our nemesis in women's soccer. We are very proud of these fierce women, and they are very representative of our college as a whole. Finally, big shout out, as Trustee Hitty pointed out, to both her and ASG and the Care Corner and Susie Castellanos, who first came up with the idea of serving meals to low-income, hungry families, student families. When they first presented this idea, I assumed it was going to be something very modest, and they presented a plan to serve 200 meals. And I'm very impressed and pleased that that has all come to be. They've completely planned, operationalized it, and will be giving out the food. So very proud and thankful to be part of a family that we call Saddleback. Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving all.
Thank you. IVC, Dr. Hernandez.
Thank you, Trustee Jamal. I also wanted to congratulate Patricia Beckman-Wells, who unfortunately I was at the league convention and I was not able to be there to congratulate her on her Distinguished Educator Award by the Irvine Chamber. Coincidentally, tonight you are approving 2 new programs that Dr. Beckman has worked very diligently in creating. An Associate of Arts degree in Game and Interactive Media Arts Design and Production Management, and a Certificate of Achievement in Game Design and Interactive Media Arts. We're excited about this because this is a program that some faculty have been discussing as a potential baccalaureate program. However, as some of you may know, programs have to be established at the Associate of Arts degree level for a minimum of 2 years before colleges can apply for the baccalaureate. If you were impressed with the video wall at the production of Young Frankenstein, as I was, just know that's not even all of the wall. That's about half of the wall. We haven't received all of the equipment to hoist and have it all in place, but it does provide an interesting opportunity for our students to learn and to design, just like Professor Beckman did for Young Frankenstein. So we're really thrilled about that. Finally, secondly, I just want to congratulate Marketing and Creative Services for winning several awards at the recent National Council for Marketing and Public Relations, District 6. They received a gold in the note cards invitations category, a silver for the computer-generated illustration category, and a bronze for interior signage displays. And also congratulations to my colleague, Dr. Stern, who was also recognized by NCMPR with the 2023 District 6 Pacesetter Award. And in closing, I so appreciate all the heartfelt testimony, sharing about Roy Bauer. I also did not have an opportunity to know him well, but I am at least thankful that on one of my walkthroughs on the campus, I walked through that floor and he was in his office, and I stepped in, introduced myself, and had just a pleasant conversation with him. And certainly his impact has been noted tonight. Thank you, Professor Alvarez, for being present and for just being such a wonderful colleague of his. And with that, I end my report and also wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for that. Vice Chancellor of Educational and Technology Services, Chris McDonald.
Well, just want to say how much those of us who spend time with Roy really enjoyed him. I can think of 3 times when I annoyed Roy, and to his credit, 3, yeah, to his credit, he might have been right 2 out of the 3, but I claim 1. And the words that come to mind are just, celerity, certainty, and passion. Celerity just means speed, the speed of his response, the certainty of a response if he thought you were on the wrong side of what's right, and the passion with he went about doing his work. I'll be honest, he kept us in line, and he definitely made us better. So, Roy, we miss you, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for that, Chris. Vice Chancellor Viscachill.
Thanks. I'll just add my remarks about the passing of Roy Bauer to say that very few, if any, individuals ever leave the enormous legacy that he has left in our district. So my condolences go to the Roy Bauer family, to the IVC family, and to our faculty family.
Thank you for that. Anne Marie, Vice Chancellor of Business Services.
Thank you. To Trustee Prendergast's comment earlier about the North Hanger fire, just rest assured that we are continuing to monitor the situation and testing at the IDEA building to ensure that it's safe before we bring our students and employees back to the building. So that's an ongoing effort. Unfortunately, the fire is still smoldering, so if it would just go out, it would make our lives a lot easier, but we're continuing to monitor that and test it. The other thing I want to let you know is that on November 6th, the City of Tustin approved the site plan for Advantech. So that was yes, thank you, yay. So we are in the 30-day comment period for CEQA with the City of Tustin. So hopefully after December 6th, shortly thereafter, before the winter break, hopefully I will be able to sign the ground lease for Advantech. So we will actually have 2 tenants at Advantech. So that's great news. And then lastly, I know it was in the report, but I just wanted to do another shout out for IVC. I was fortunate enough to be the MC at the Design Awards presentation at the Community College Facilities Coalition Luncheon. And IVC's Outdoor Learning Labs won a design award. And so I was fortunate to be there with both Jeff Hurlbut and Anna Petrosian from Irvine Valley College, as well as a couple members of my team, Menhani Ephraim and Mary Opal, who all 4 played an integral part in that project. So that's it.
Real
Go
quick,
ahead, yeah.
I do know that one thing, if you haven't done it, if you do a Google search just over ATEP. The Goddard School now shows up as a pin.
Really? How interesting.
That's great. Thank you for that. I think I'm going to ask Trustee Milchker to say a few words before I close.
Yeah, because, I wanted to say a few words about Roy, and thank you so much for letting me do that. First of all, I want to thank Professor and I also want to thank Professor Lisa Alvarez for being here. And people don't know, she's been taking care of Roy. He's been sick for a long time. She's been bringing him food, making wonderful food, feeding him. She's been wonderful to him. She was just there with him to the very end. He was just a force of nature. He was brilliant, philosophy professor. He cared so much about Irvine Valley College that he just went to great lengths to, when he saw things were happening to the college that were not good, that were negative, he just went to work to try to make things better. And he just did whatever he could. He was a very, very hard worker and very, very passionate about the college and about his love for the college. Now, I don't speak as well as these professors speak. They speak much more beautifully than I do, and I thank you for all the beautiful words that we're saying about him. But one thing I do remember about him, on our board of trustees, we had a Holocaust denier, and he would go to these meetings at the Institute for Historical Review that was founded by a guy named, I just looked it up here. Anyway, and the Institute for Historical Review was a very anti-Semitic organization that promoted the idea that the Holocaust was just a made-up thing and it never happened. And my in-laws are Holocaust survivors, so this kind of stuff, got to me. It's like a stab to the heart, So he and I were fighting this and fighting this because what he promoted, he wanted to have this one book, and in the book, it was called The Final Judgment. It was called The Final Judgment: The Missing Link in the JFK Assassination Conspiracy. And I brought a copy for Lisa to see with my picture in it. So my picture and Roy's picture went out to the Nazi conspiracy people all over the world. So really, our lives were in danger. We had death threats to us. It was very scary, And these Nazis were coming to our board meeting. And some of these Nazis, like Michael Collins Piper that wrote the book, I read about him. He was going down to the border, he and his friends, and beating with baseball bats on the people that were coming across the border, and beating them up. They're they were generally hating everyone. They were just bad people and really tough. So Roy and I were fighting this, and he really was very, very brave in fighting this, and really, I felt really good that he was there with us and with me to fight this, the lies and the terrible ideas that some of these people had, and some of the terrible people that came to our board meetings saying terrible things. So it was a really, really tough time, and Roy was there. Roy was wonderful. He was always brave. He was always fighting for the right, fighting for the good. He fought the good fight, and we will miss him, but he had a very good run, and we'll miss him a lot. I just really, thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Well, it probably comes as no surprise that we are going to adjourn the board meeting this evening in honor of IVC faculty member Roy Bauer. Roy passed away last night surrounded by family and listening to Robert Johnson sing the blues. I offer my sincere condolences to Roy's family and close friends, and I also want to acknowledge Professor Alvarez for all that you've done. Roy, let me say, I want to talk a little bit about who Roy was and where he came from. Roy Bauer was born in 1955 in British Columbia to immigrant parents from Germany. They moved to Orange in 1959. Roy attended Villa Park Elementary School and then Villa Park High School. He was an Eagle Scout. Prior to joining the IVC faculty, Roy earned his master's degree in philosophy from the University of California, Irvine. Roy taught at IVC since 1987 for 36 years and 10 months. He was instrumental in reforming the Faculty Association to truly represent the faculty and successfully defended faculty and student rights on campus and in court. Roy was the longest-serving senator of IVC's Academic Senate. For more than 25 years, Roy was the force behind the iconic Dissent the Blog. Roy's blog brought sunlight to district and college issues confronting board members, administrators, faculty, staff, and political leaders. He challenged and criticized us to think differently and out of the box. Roy immensely disliked groupthink, which is perhaps why I liked him very much. He was just also so damn funny, using satire to point out the absurdity and the obvious, and calling us all out on the carpet, including myself on multiple occasions, and that's okay. Before actually I started to run for trustee, a friend of mine told me, you should check out this blog. And I had no idea what this blog was, so I did. I checked it out, and it was clear his iconoclastic imprint was all over it, and I instantly liked him. In my 10 years on the board, I don't think Roy and I spoke more than maybe half an hour together. Something today I regret, but I think it was also intentional because he wanted separation between us and the board. He was, I think, in another life, or when he comes back, he's going to be an investigative reporter, reporting on corruption and human rights abuses around the world. And I think he wanted that distance. Even though, we didn't speak that often, I always felt he was here. His presence was here at all times. And it was obvious he cared. And I think it's clear that Roy Bauer was the pulse of Irvine Valley College, and he did make the district better. I admit, when I came, so I've read his blog, coming on the board, I got elected. And then one of my goals coming on the board, knowing that he's attending and scribing every word being said on the board, was to make our meetings more uneventful and to avoid being the target of Roy's zingers. And he had some legendary zingers. So maybe we'll have a best of Roy Bauer coming out over the last few years, because if you haven't had a chance to look at the history of the blog, you should do so. But I think in some ways, sadly, my strategy may have worked. We've become a lot less interesting. And therefore, Roy's attendance tended to decline. But in a way, Roy only could do, he did proclaim the board, the new board, jackass-free. So,
That's a good
and I
thing.
think we all appreciate that.
Yeah, that we did.
Let me say that, just concluding, Roy was a professor of philosophy and ethics. He worked to help many students understand that the world is a complex place, and it's important to develop an ethical compass that doesn't bend to convenience, utility, and expediency. I think we heard that throughout comments from everybody tonight. In the last days, Roy was contacted and visited by many former colleagues and students, including founding faculty members of IVC. One student wrote, quote, "Thank you for the gifts you gave me, even though you might not realize you gave them," end quote. Roy, I mean, he truly was an icon, and he'll be missed. So, before we adjourn in honor of Roy, let's listen to a little bit of Robert Johnson.
Oh, cool.
I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees.
All right, thank you and good night.